The Porchcast with Brandon and Christian. Brandon and Christian. The Porchcast with Brandon and Christian.
Welcome back to the Porchcast, episode 3.
I know, we made it. That's a trend.
That is a trend. That is an official trend. And not only are we trending, so to speak, we're posted. We're online. We are in the ether.
I didn't recognize the platform that you uploaded it on.
So that's not really the platform that we'll be utilizing. It's more just like the hub. Is that it's utilized for, but there's an option there to upload into Apple, like iTunes, into Spotify. There's like a place to upload it all there, and
Sounds like an airstrike going on.
it might be. I'll tell you what, there are the loudest vehicles in this area. Have you noticed that?
It probably is because of the industrial environment that we're in, and yeah, particularly the whatever they're working on up the street, man.
I actually finally found out the other day what that was. It is it's cement. Is what I finally found out.
They're making cement.
Making cement or processing cement to be other things. Yeah, but she said, but you know, I thought that cement smelled. I thought I heard the cement smelled somewhere. Anyways, regardless of that, we are online, so we'll be able to post it onto iTunes, post it onto podcasts, on Spotify. We just have to like sign up for all those things. And one of the things that we
should just pick one though, right? Don't you think?
No, we can do all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like H3 does a lot, like all of them. Joe Rogan doesn't do all of them, but I feel like we should split it up, get more listeners, because it'll show the aggregate for our viewer.
That's
count.
awesome.
Yeah.
The idea, just you telling me that one other person heard the podcast is so cool. Just because, I don't know, I just think that's pretty cool that anyone would be listening, and if it becomes something more, that'd be really cool too.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, she's a good friend of ours. So she did listen to the whole thing, but she had probably more skin in the game than a stranger. She recognized the stories we were talking about. But she did like the airport anecdote quite a bit, pretty relatable. I mean, it did suck fucking dick, and I don't think anybody can relate completely to that experience, but
yeah, but it made me think that if we were going to do this once a week, and if anecdotes, personal stories were going to be a part of it, that it would, and we talked about this, I think, on the first time, or maybe not necessarily even on the Porchcast, but we've talked about it, is that if we just did things in real life in order to generate content.
That's a good point.
For the Porchcast, and I thought that was kind of a cool idea too.
So what kind of things do you think would like spawn good content? Or
it's funny. Well, the way that you frame it is concerning to me because I thought of one idea.
Okay.
But it's not like it wouldn't create good content. Now, when you put it that way, because I remember when you originally said that, and I don't know if this is something you would actually want to try or just sort of, but you said that stand up, just the idea of doing it fascinates you a little bit. My thought, because this is a subject that has created a lot of guilt for me, is, and this is not something we talked about, is that all that stuff to grow a home garden that my mom got me and I totally dropped the ball on.
Yeah.
So I want to give that another shot, but I don't know how that would generate content. That's just something that I need a little push, I think, to get into it again, because gardening does interest me, but it's also kind of stresses me out, dude. The fragility of it, you know? I don't want to be... It's a lot to be responsible for, I think.
So what happened the first time?
I followed the directions everything they told me to a T, and I still killed everything. So I followed up with them. I told them everything that happened, and they told me what I needed to do to fix it. And then I just kind of never, and then I kind of forgot about it.
Until now.
Not until now, but it was something that I was thinking that to give another good shot. But like if we were talking on a podcast about how my plants are coming along, and it's
Yeah.
not like they're not like weed plants or anything. They're just like peppers and
What
stuff.
if they were though?
I do not want. I don't think there's anything wrong with growing weed plants, but I don't want people to think. I guess there's a connotation there that I just don't really want to be associated with. I'd rather be known for growing basil,
Yeah.
something.
That makes sense. What do you think it is about? So there's two things I want to talk about. What is it about weed that is so much more taboo than alcohol? Because if someone were to tell you, like, I brew my own beer, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, is it any good? They'll be like, yeah, I'll bring you some, and you try it, and it's cool. But if someone's like, I grow my own weed, it's like, really? Why don't you go buy some? That's so weird to kind of grow your own. And like, are you obsessed with weed? You're that obsessed with weed you
I
have to make
think it
yourself?
depends who you would talk to, but I think
Mhm.
it obviously is more taboo, but that's just a culture thing. I don't even think it really warrants that much explaining because, I mean, alcohol has been part of American and just human culture for not necessarily longer, but weed has been taboo and stigmatized for much longer. I think that's going to take some time to undo.
Yes and no. I mean, prohibition happened. There was a time in somewhat recent memory where the United States government was so anti-alcohol that they banned it federally. So it is interesting that we went from banning the substance federally, and we've now seen that it's possible going from banning the substance federally to maybe it being a little bit too accepted into society.
Yes, and I guess kind of going off of that, what do you think about the drinking age? Do you think 21's a good number?
So it's interesting. The only argument that I ever hear when it comes to the drinking age being 18 instead of 21, I'll answer the question first. Absolutely, 21 is sufficient, and it shouldn't go any younger than that. From 18 to 21, you are already drinking in an irresponsible way. You don't need it to be legal. Like, it's already.
I think though that because in college it causes so many problems and arrests, and that's another can of worms, is how much I think that it's just a racket, really, because I think I don't think that the drinking age should necessarily be lowered, but I think that it should be decriminalized for if you're 18 to 20. I think that it should just be a ticket or something, because if you get caught with it, I think it creates more problems for that person than the alcohol itself.
I think that, well, as far as I know, from people that I know that have gotten caught, the first time isn't actually that bad. You usually get an MIP, which is a minor in possession, and as far as I know, your first MIP isn't that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, MIPs, they don't really like very much, which does make sense. But I don't know. I just feel like, it's my dad's argument for keeping weed illegal as well, in that there's already enough drunk drivers on the road. There's already enough stupid drinkers out there that we don't need to make it easier for 18 to 21-year-olds who, admittedly, are probably some of the stupidest people out there to drink more and drink easier. So at the same time, the only argument that I've heard in favor of decreasing it to 18 is that you shouldn't be allowed to be in the military and fighting for your country overseas and not be able to come home and have a beer afterwards. And I am obviously completely on board with veterans being able to drink.
I don't think veterans should be allowed to drink at all.
I mean, that's a half.
And I can say that, well, I think some of them shouldn't, and I'm completely joking, but I could say from personal experience, as a bartender, some of the, especially around the holidays, I don't know, what is it, Memorial Day or Veterans Day?
Veterans Day.
Is
that the holidays for them?
Yeah, their holidays.
Yeah.
I have met some folks that shouldn't be drinking, and they should not be talking about me. They shouldn't be talking to me about the things that they talked about. They should be talking to a psychiatrist.
Really?
Not, yeah, I've had multiple instances of talking. I've probably told you these.
I don't think you've told me this.
The most recent example, when I was bartending at the bar I worked at in Tampa,
Yeah.
I think it was a slow night, and I think it was a holiday related to the military, probably Memorial Day. And there was a gentleman there, and he was a big guy. He was probably at least 6 foot, 6'1", and he looked very strong.
Okay.
And I think our first interaction was he came to the bar and he was just not with it, just stumbling. And when you see someone like that, and I feel like just from personal experience, you can tell when you could look at someone and be like, all right, this guy is going to be unpredictable. One of those drunk guys. I mean, you've worked in restaurants and you've been in enough bars to know, like, all right, this guy is way too drunk, but he also seems kind of unpredictable. And I remember him coming up to the bar, and I think what started it was he accused, or he couldn't find his cell phone. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen you. I've been here all night. I've been behind the bar all night, and I haven't seen you. So I don't think that it would be here. And I don't think he really accepted that as an answer.
Right.
But he kind of went away, and he found his phone, I guess. But then he came back, and he asked for a martini, which is the absolute last thing this guy needed. And I didn't know that he was in the military either, or had been. And I made him his drink, and I'm trying to... Okay, I'll just skip to when it got interesting. Because at some point, he came back to the bar, and he was just really drunk. And he started talking about his service, and I think he told me about how he killed people casually. I'm like, yeah, that's
fucking insane.
That's intense. And
Yeah.
that's not the first time. It happened again another time, and it really freaked me out. This guy told me that. But this guy, he started talking about his...
Wait, so what do you say when he says shit like that? Like when you're sitting in front of him and he's talking to you about people he killed. I mean, what are you supposed to say to that?
I don't really say anything. I just listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what am I going to say? Oh, bummer, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
that's crazy. But he started talking about the subject of his fallen comrades, and dude, I will probably never forget this because it was so crazy. Just the look on this guy's face. His eyes were so bloodshot, and there was like nothing there. But at the same time, he was not breaking eye contact with me, and he was staring at me so intensely, dude, that it was just a really intense moment. And he recited...
Was it paralyzing? Like in a way? Like were you just frozen?
Yeah. Because this guy, he slammed his martini glass down on the bar.
Mhm.
The fact that it didn't break, that was what the most amazing thing, because he slammed it down and he started reciting an ode to his fallen brethren. And he didn't break eye contact with me the whole time. I don't remember what he said, but it was...
That's fucking insane, dude. So what were you doing? You're just staring at him while he's like very, 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 like having a really intense moment.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was pretty much the end of it. I mean, he never, like, did anything particularly crazy other than just what he said. And, dude, and people like that, I guess the reason I brought it up in the first place is because they shouldn't be alone at a bar getting absolutely wasted in order... I don't know if that was his way of dealing with the situation or his trauma, which I'm sure that he had some.
Right.
And I just wish it was kind of easier as far as accessibility, but also just the stigma of it to have someone to talk to, because I am not qualified for that situation, and it happened multiple times.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you're talking about somebody that you know, you think of a culture of masculinity and of an attitude that you pretty much an antithetical attitude to somebody who's encouraging of talking to a therapist. I feel like the heavily masculine culture obviously doesn't embrace that. as like a mechanism for making yourself feel better. It's just kind of the kick yourself into shape and get over it, get back up.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the same time, incidents like that happen all the time, where these people are just like literally sometimes crying for help, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like it's so clear, it's so obvious of what a potential solution for them could be, and it's so clear and so obvious that this is a potential solution that they seek out. Maybe not a therapist, but in strangers in some sense, like this guy did for you. It just makes it frustrating that the stigma still holds them back from actually being able to like aggressively go after their solution.
Yeah, I think that things could be a lot better in that regard, but I think that they are getting better. I think it is becoming less of a stigma. Also, I mean, I can't even imagine, first of all, I don't know, I guess you wouldn't call it murder, but at least killing somebody or just seeing really
Just seeing somebody die.
seeing somebody die, just that type of violence. I don't think I could handle it. I'm confident that I could not handle that gracefully, at least, you know? Maybe I'd probably like stay in one piece, but
Yeah, what do you think it would do to you?
I don't think it's right to speculate on something like that, really. I'm sure it would just really shake me up. I don't,
Interesting.
you know, I don't think it would be right to say like, oh, well, it'd probably be like this or that, because I can't even imagine, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that I could. I think I'd be fine.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I think if I were working in a profession, I think that I would be capable of working in a profession, like a doctor, seeing some really fucked up shit, or like
EMT or
like an
fireman.
EMT.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah. Like anything that's gonna be exposed to fucked up shit. I think that I could persevere through it, especially for work. So I don't think that I would. I think that I would be very, very like a below average bothered by seeing a dead body, definitely, and seeing somebody die.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's it.
I bet you it would surprise me more than I think, but
Maybe. It's a temperament thing, though, and I know that that type of either gore or violence is just not something that I would be able to deal with, especially on a consistent basis.
right.
And there's people that have the temperament for that, and then there's people that do not, and that's why you get to pick what you do, sort of.
Pretty crazy job.
Which one?
Like an EMT, and honestly, a lot of the people that I work with were former flight nurses and former paramedics on helicopters, so they see some fucking crazy shit. Some of them were even on specifically on NICU and PICU transports, which is neonatal and prenatal intensive care units, and that's like babies and shit, dude. Like babies who are just like about to die, and they probably do a lot.
Yeah.
Babies. That's horrible. That's so hard to go through.
I can imagine.
As a job, man. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. All right, you want to get dark with it for a little bit, since we've been kind of on lighter subjects for the last little bit?
Did you have something else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about dating apps in general. I kind of want to spend some time unpacking this new idea, like this new culture. And there's probably new ideas that you and I can bring to the table that have been discussed publicly and by people that know more than us about apps, and they're probably pretty figured out.
But here we go.
Here we go. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Why?
I've never been a fan. I still have a like a prejudice against them. I don't think that, like, if I meet people and they say that they met online or through an app, I still am not completely wrap my head around it. And that's after seeing demonstrable evidence like to the contrary. Like at a very early stage of apps being Tyler and Jamie. They met in the infancy stages to us of Tinder, and they're gonna get married.
But didn't they have mutual friends too?
They didn't meet through them though. They did have mutual friends, but they met through Tinder.
Okay.
In fact, I believe they might have met potentially. So they did get an assist. You're right. You're right. So basically, our friends were met on Tinder, and matched on Tinder, talked for a little bit, but I think it might have fizzled out, and then I think Jake Gersten also matched with her at the time, and then something happened to where he found out about Jamie being related to our good friend TJ, and Tyler's girlfriend. Found out the two were related, and I think maybe messaged her something on Tinder about TJ, like TJ says hi or something.
So
And that kind of reignited things, and they ended up hanging out. I don't remember the exact situation that they first hung out, but I think it could have been with TJ.
So you didn't really say why you dislike the concept.
I have no good reason. I genuinely have no good reason.
Do you think that if you were to meet someone, that meeting them through an activity that you were doing in real life or just by matter of chance in real life seems more significant than, is that it, or is it something else?
That's definitely a part of it. That's a huge part of it. I also think there's like this science behind apps that I don't necessarily understand. Like I don't understand science kind of creating relationships.
Like other people being in control of something that is so significant to
That's
your
right.
life.
That's right. It's just still taboo for me, I think, and I don't know why. And it's not an opposition to it, I don't think. I think it's just a still not being able to 100% wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I agree. I also feel kind of silly if I were to tell somebody that I met somebody through an app,
Mhm.
even if we got along great.
Yeah, a person that if you were to meet him in person, you probably would have really clicked with.
Yeah.
Like I get that. I get that part of it for sure. And just because you meet somebody on an app doesn't mean that you're attached to them. So you can go through plenty of people on an app, and in the same way that you would go through plenty of people that you meet in real life. I do think that if you meet somebody in real life, there's better chances that you're gonna vibe because you met them in real life already. That's how you met. You vibed, and I really dislike it when I spend time around somebody that I don't vibe with. Now it doesn't happen tremendously often that I don't probably vibe with them, but it doesn't happen tremendously often where I'm really excited about being with a person.
What percentage of your dates from a dating app would you say were positive, and I guess what would be neutral, and how many would you say were negative?
I would say 50% are negative and 50% kind of across the spectrum of okay, pretty good and amazing.
Which one would you say was amazing?
There's only one that's been amazing.
Was it the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, a couple here have been pretty good. A couple here have been just okay.
Do you want to talk about the girl that you met?
We can.
I don't know if.
Well, now we're publishing them.
Well, you could talk about it in a vague way, right?
Well, I kind of want to talk about first dates in general, and I'll kind of bring up multiple situations.
Okay.
And some of them they'll all be true.
But you feel like it's a job interview, because I feel the same way. But at the same time, I think it doesn't have to be that way. Especially if you kind of hit it off, you know?
Yeah, I definitely get that. But sometimes I feel like I'm doing the interviewing. I don't typically feel interviewed. I would actually prefer it if they asked me more questions. That's actually one of the things that goes a long way is if you ask me questions and like engage me because I get exhausted from asking questions and I start thinking that I'm annoying. So if you start asking questions and I start being able to answer, like you asked the question, you pretty much gave me permission to talk about this thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially the first time, because the first time you don't know if they like it or not. Like they're just being nice, like a lot of people would be. Um, but the pressure is like if they're gonna want to hang out with you again, I think is part of it. And if you're gonna want to hang out with them again, of course, like it goes both ways. But there's not as much pressure around whether or not you're gonna hang out with them again. There's more pressure about whether or not they're gonna hang out with you again, because you want them to want to hang out with you no matter what, and then you get to decide.
Maybe, but if it's kind of a mutual feeling of just not really hitting it off, then I don't think that's a big deal.
It's not as big of a deal as you really like them and they don't like you, but I would still prefer them to like me and me to not like them over a mutual. What do you think between those two?
Well, of course, I would rather not get my feelings hurt, but
Yeah.
everyone would feel that way. So I think that the biggest gripe that I have with dating apps, and I think this is not just with dating apps, but the internet in general, the way that it's influenced us as people, is there's so many choices that it's so overwhelming and you feel like you're always looking for something better. And I think that's really something that our generation is going to have to is going to create a lot of problems. I mean, it already has.
Are you saying me
No, I'm
specifically,
talking
or
about people in general. I mean, I think that's something which I've experienced a lot to an extent too, where if you look at, say, if you swipe through 50 profiles, that's so many people when you think about it,
yeah?
especially compared to any other generation where how many people do you actually meet? How many like girls or do you meet? So
Not many.
yeah.
Yeah. Not many. It's a good point. It's a good point. I definitely am that way. I'm also the kind of person that I look at everything, dude.
Are you really picky too?
So picky, and I look at everything, dude. Everything is on the table for me to like be like, I don't like the way like she like tapped her foot. I don't know if I could deal with that forever. And that's how my brain thinks. Like I think about it in forever. It's like I don't think that I like that. Where I'm trying to be like, okay, but like, what if you just hang out for a little bit and then like get to know a person for a little bit? But
I know what you mean. I'm the same way exactly. Just some little thing will just be a total deal breaker.
I broke up with a girl in high school that I had been dating for months because she laughed at a rape scene during a movie, which was incredibly weird. But it was clearly a nervous laugh.
I laugh when I'm nervous too.
Would you have laughed at a rape scene?
If I thought it
you
was
could have.
funny enough.
It wasn't funny.
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
it wasn't funny. Which isn't to say that rape scenes can't be funny. I'm sure they can. Funny by how poorly done they are. Did you know that there's a rape scene? I think that's called like commonly referred to as the butter scene. It's from a very old movie, but it wasn't in the script. Only the director and the actor knew about it as a scene, and the actor playing the man. Those are the only two people in the entire, like, as far as I know, maybe a couple other people that knew about the rape scene.
What was the context of it?
I don't really remember. It was just like a bit. It seemed to me because I just like watched that scene, but I didn't watch the greater movie, so I couldn't really tell what was going on. But it seemed to me like he was like a business guy, and she was like a lady that maybe worked for him or liked him. Maybe they were together. But I'm pretty sure it was really fucked up. I'm pretty sure he put butter on his dick, and I'm pretty sure he like actually raped her. Like, and the scene is horrifying. You can tell she's getting raped. It's like obviously fucking crazy, and that's why they did it. But to see that is really messed up.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I know. I might be misremembering the story and over.
Because what director in their right mind would make someone do something like that?
A director that's not in the right mind.
It's like the Human Centipede guy.
I want to watch it. I want to watch the Human Centipede. What do
The
you
first one is okay, and
think?
then
Is it like Hostel?
no, I don't really remember it that much, honestly. But I remember the first one. I mean, it's just gross shock value. I feel like the first one had the most integrity that a movie like that could possibly have. But they made a couple of sequels that I had the absolute, misfortune of watching that were so bad.
Really?
Just because it became a parody of itself, but it was so aggressively corny, and also they just broke the fourth wall constantly, and it is so dumb. I think I watched it with Mike in college one time, and I remember the whole time watching it just thinking, this is how I'm spending my time. And like,
did you want to get away? Or
yeah, but
not?
for some reason I was watching it still. And
Watched the whole thing.
yeah, and I regret it now that I'm thinking about it, because I would have rather just sit down for 90 minutes.
Stare at a wall.
Stare at a wall. I think that would have been time better spent.
That's really saying something about a movie if you'd rather stare at a wall. Like, you'd have been better off not watching it.
Oh, for sure.
And watching just absolutely nothing, watching an empty TV screen. Do you think there's like, I don't know, I would have probably left, I feel like. I'm trying to think of movies that I've seen the whole thing. You know, another movie that I've, like, the only movie in theaters I ever walked out of in my whole life, you were with me, was Spanglish with Adam Sandler. Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember. We go watch it with your mom?
Mm-hmm. We did, and we walked out of it because it was bad. It's a horrible movie. It was boring. Like, I remember we were an hour and a half in, and it felt like it had been 2.5. I would say it felt like the 2:40 mark. Like, it had to be ending soon. And I think we found out it still had like 45 minutes or something. Like, I think we looked it up. I don't know if you could have looked things up at that time, but I think we maybe knew or something. And we found out how much time was left in the movie, and we were like, "There's no way. This movie's so bad. This movie's so boring." Like, half of it was in Spanish, which at the time we just really weren't in the mood for subtitles. And it wasn't funny at all. I think it was like sad more than anything. But I read on Reddit the other day the movie's good, so I'm kind of wanting to revisit it. Like, I'm kind of curious to see, now that that's settled, if it's as bad as we made it out to be back then.
Yeah, you're welcome to watch it, but I don't want to.
You don't remember it fondly at all?
I remember it very vaguely, so I don't have any
strong opinions.
Yeah, I just think that it wasn't really a kids movie. Or maybe it was, because it's Adam Sandler. I mean, has he ever made a movie that was remotely serious?
I believe this
was this the one?
Was one of them. Well, Punch Drunk Love was pretty serious, and Click had its moments, although it was still definitely.
Oh no, Click definitely had some drama elements to it.
Definitely.
I think, yeah, that was a good one. That was probably like the end of the era.
That was my last one I liked. I think Funny People maybe came out after Click.
That was a different kind of tone, though, to a lot of his other movies.
And Grown Ups came out after that, and Grown Ups was okay.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just like you had a all-star cast of like Adam Sandler and all his friends, so they're probably all just kind of like funny together. It'd be like if Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Ari Shaffir, and Tom Segura all like starred in a movie together. Like, it wouldn't even matter.
Yeah, if you already like them, then you know that you'll like the movie.
Exactly. They're just themselves. But that cannot be said about these new Netflix movies that Adam Sandler's making. He can try all he wants to do a movie with David Spade and to do a movie with Chris Rock and
what movie?
With Jennifer Aniston. He did a movie with David Spade where he was like a cop. They all just look terrible, and I'll be honest, I've only seen one of the three, and I love Adam Sandler to death. I went and saw him recently, live and in person.
When?
In Tampa.
How was that? I don't think we talked about that.
We haven't talked about that at all. Saw him live in person in the first row, in Tampa. I love Adam Sandler, and me and my brother both love Adam Sandler together. We grew up on Adam Sandler. We've watched Happy Gilmore together countless times. Love Adam Sandler, and we turned it off because it was so bad. The movie with Chris Rock. It was about like a wedding. But as far as Adam Sandler's show, dude, it was outstanding. He really.
How would you compare it to when we saw The Whitest Kids You Know in Tampa? I don't know if it's kind of warrants a comparison, but
yeah, there's probably no comparison. Only because seeing The Whitest Kids You Know was awesome in how intimate it was. That's what made it so awesome. Is that we were literally, literally got to meet them. We were in it. We were in the show with The Whitest Kids You Know. We saw The Whitest Kids You Know, and they asked for volunteers, and we raised our hands, the four of us, and we got picked to take part in a skit. Trevor Moore from Whitest Kids You Know took us around the corner and like explained the skit to us. And we were like talking face to face with Trevor Moore, pretty crazy. And then we did this whole skit, and it was great. And then we stayed after the show. We met him afterwards and talked to him a little further. It was the most ideal, but it was at a very small, strip mall kind of sized comedy place. It's downtown in like a cool area, but it's still a very, very small comedy venue like you would see in any major city in like their downtown. But Adam Sandler was playing Amalie Arena. So it's just a whole different thing entirely that he's playing this stadium. And so, there's 3 levels, and he's got this huge stage and all these lights and these big TVs, right? It's just a completely different format. And it was amazing to see how talented of a musician he is. Because it is very musical. There's a lot of music to it. It is honest for sure. It's funny as hell. Not laugh out loud funny, but just I came away thinking it was so good. It was just from start to finish. I never got bored. I didn't want to leave. And sometimes comedy shows take a while and get kind of long. Even an hour-long comedy show with 3 different acts. Towards the end of the main guy, I'm almost getting a little bit worn out from like having to be there and laugh. But this show was just a show, and it was just so good, so well done. And I truly think that Netflix is how he makes his money, maybe, and he's probably making pretty good money on this tour. But like, this is really where his heart's at. And my brother thinks that his Netflix special is one of his favorite comedy specials of all time.
I watched a little bit of that too, and I was laughing so hard.
I need to watch it.
There was one joke that he did. I don't know. Should I just like repeat it? Sort of. Okay. He's like, I hate when you go to someone's house, and I'm gonna butcher it because I vaguely remember it. But
I remember this joke.
I hate when you go to someone's house and they make you take your shoes off, and you're like, oh, now I gotta take my shoes off. And they're like, oh, socks too. And he's like, all right, now hop in this bucket. We're making wine, baby. Like, we're mashing grapes.
That's the kind of jokes he tells, dude. It's jokes like that where you're like, we're
so stupid. It's like, dude, how do you think of that? The way that you described it, though, kind of made me think about when we saw Nathan Fielder at FSU, where it's more of like an experience rather than you're watching a comedy set or something. It's just you're in this room with someone that you adore, and you're just hanging out, having a good time.
Exactly. So he sang this one song called "Phone Wallet Keys." And it's really just one joke that makes it. It was probably in my opinion, one of the funniest moments of the night. The whole song is just like phone, wallet, keys, and that's like the chorus. And then he like sings about how I think that the kind of gist of the song is how his phone starts to be able to like take on the capabilities of his keys and his wallet. And so the whole song is like phone, wallet, keys, and then the last chorus comes up, and all this stuff is happening. He's just like phone, phone, phone. Phone, 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 and like the switch of the chorus was one of the just like funniest moments of the whole show. It was just like a really consistent show throughout.
I would have gone to that.
It was it was a good time. But And the classics, of course. Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Mr. Deeds, 50 First Dates, Anger Management. He just had a string of Miss Big Daddy. If you go back, Big Daddy, Wedding Singer. I haven't really seen. Waterboy's great. He just was fucking consistent for so long. Click was good. Punch Drunk Love's a pretty good movie. It's really pretty outstanding.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
a lot of movies.
He was also in this other movie. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I think it's called it might be called the Lewinsky Project. But he's in it. It's a serious Netflix original.
Like Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, that's. I think. It's it could be the Lewinsky. I don't remember. I wish I could look it up.
That's probably one of the most bizarre household names, don't you think?
Adam Sandler.
No, Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, of course, dude.
When you think about household names, dude, because what do you think of when you hear that name? Everyone thinks of one
Bill
thing.
Clinton, yeah, the incident.
So that's gotta sort of ruin your whole life. Not ruin, but I'm sure. I know she's on record about how it's affected her and stuff, but
I mean, she got famous. She probably made money.
Maybe.
It probably. And she's not really in the news that much anymore, and she's made her money.
So
She wrote a book.
if you were a secretary in the White House and the president was a woman and she solicited you for sex or anything, well, yeah, sex, and then that became a scandal, how do you think you would feel about that, or how do you think it'd be different?
I don't think it would be very different. I think it would be very stressful.
Think so?
I do.
I think it'd be kind of funny just because of the roles being reversed.
I think that it would be. I think it would blow up the same way. I think it would blow a ball. I think it would be. I think that in this current environment right now, even it would be so magnetized. If the first female president got into office, let's say, and this scandal happened, it would be absolutely insane. You would never hear the end of it. It would be bigger than Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. But no, it would be a lot of pressure, I think, because she was young. I think she was like an intern, so she would have been in like her early to mid 20s.
That's so crazy, like from Bill Clinton's perspective.
Yeah.
You know, just being like, yeah, do whatever I want. Because I probably wouldn't do that, but I would like to just kind of push the envelope a little bit. Be like, you know, hit the buzzer and be like, bring me, you know, we've had this discussion before, like how far you think what's the limit? If you're just like, hey, bring me a lion. I just want to
Oh yeah.
I just want to see it.
Just like unlimited money, everything at your disposal. Literally nobody can tell you no.
Yeah.
Like it's like like you are the highest authority when it comes to what you can do. You can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. And if you want to see it like within legality,
I'd probably just ask for like Uber Eats a lot.
I think you've said that. Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
It would be
Well,
awesome.
no, you probably don't have to do that because
You don't
they
have to
could
do
probably
that.
just make you food there.
They could probably make you some sick ass food downstairs. Yeah, and just bring it up to you.
Do you think
on
you
a
would get
plate.
bored though? I bet they like
Probably
have
so busy.
really good coffee and stuff.
They probably
too.
have really good coffee. God, dude, he probably works all day. How do you stop the president?
Which one?
Huh? The normal ones.
It probably sucks.
Literally every other single one has probably worked so hard.
It probably sucks to live in the White House though. Or maybe
It sucks to be president. It sucks.
Oh yeah,
to be
because
president.
like when are you supposed to take time off? Because there's always stuff going on.
They
It's-
do take time off though. How do they do that? Who do you think's in charge when they're gone?
Dude, what I'm saying though is, yeah, you could take time off, but if you're even the most remotely conscientious person, they're like, hey, so you know, there was a mass shooting
Yep.
here. It's kind of like your job to say something.
Oh yeah, you got to come back. Of course.
Yeah, or if they're like, hey, I don't know.
I mean, they're calling you all day long.
Yeah, it's
while you're
like,
on
oh my
vacation.
god, just like that's why I guess what the vice president is for. It'd be cool if it was like 2 people, sort of.
You ask a lot of questions at work.
To who?
Other
I ask a
people?
lot of questions to myself.
No, to others.
Sometimes it depends. Why?
I ask a lot of questions. I clarify things a lot. Like I will run. Like I don't like I won't make decisions by myself.
That's what I think a good president would be if he's like, all right, who's the best guy? Because there's so many different domains. There's, you know, energy and transportation
Yep.
and trade and diplomats and
Yeah, he can't know the answer to everything.
you just gotta have like a really top guy. And it would be cool to just like have a really smart guy like Elon Musk or something and be like, all right, dude, what should we do? And then you just sign it.
Yeah, I feel like for like just like really smart people, like a guy like Obama, I think is regardless of his decisions, I think he's a bright guy. So I think he's able to like catch on to a lot of different things quickly. So like he probably is able to, although he may not have an economics background, he's able to catch on to the economy quickly and to finances quickly. And he may not have a a energy background, but he gets to understanding energy, and he may not have a environmental background, right? All these different subjects that he has to a war background, a strategy background. Might not have all those. I think he has a law background. You kind of have to still be good at everything, good enough to be the final decision maker at the end of the day for a lot of things.
Yeah, I think judgment's a really important thing there. But it's also tough because you have to make decisions where it's like, okay, we could do this thing and this amount of people are going to die, or we could do this thing and this amount of people are going to die. I'd be like, I don't want to do
How do
either.
we do both?
Yeah, I don't want to do either of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right. You want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
Take a quick
Okay.
break. We start some dinner. I'm gonna grab a beer and we'll get back to it.
Okay.
This has been the Porchcast. 2, 1. Just gonna give a quick shout out to Tiki Torches, of course. Can't forget about our most important sponsor, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we should get some, especially for when it starts cooling down. I'm so excited to get into our new place, man. I'm so excited. I haven't even seen it yet, but if we have a view of the mountains, I can't even imagine.
Did I tell you we're going tomorrow?
Yeah.
2? Okay. 2:00 p.m. Yeah, it's gonna be really nice. We're gonna have to get a space heater, I think.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I mean, I think the quality of the Porchcast would be so much better too if we're a superior porch. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in the name.
So we need a little bit of help, potentially from the outside, but we got to make like a profile picture, if you will, for our podcast.
What do you think it should be?
No idea. Should we talk about it on air?
Yeah, because do you think that's like important to, I guess, the brand, if you want to call it that, or also to attract attention in the first place?
No, I just think it's good to do. I think I have an idea.
Okay.
I think I have an idea. Maybe at first we could do like an old picture of us, like that. There's that old picture of us. I think where's like this when we're little kids. It's a pretty classic picture. You would know it if you saw it. I think I'm wearing a white shirt. Maybe you're wearing a white shirt. I think we could use that for a little bit, and we could potentially ask Josh Bailey down the line, pay him to like do something cool with like a nice mountain design. Like once we have the porch, we could send him a picture of it. and have him like do like a cartoon kind of cool.
Do you think he's
well-done
the
version.
best one to ask? Because I was gonna say Mike would be a good candidate. Also,
Mike's a good candidate too. Josh Bailey does it professionally.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's the only reason I was thinking
Yeah, I
that.
don't see
Like,
why
that's
not.
his job. Have you ever seen some of his stuff?
I have.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's really good, and I would just feel more comfortable paying somebody who does it professionally than like paying Mike to do it. As much as I think he could do a good job, and who knows, like we can subtly bring it up when they're here. I'm sure he would do it for fun while he was here, but he wouldn't necessarily have the exact view.
Do you think they would want to do one when they visit?
Mhm.
That'd be
I think still. Oh, I have some bad news about that. I kind of got stuck in a weird position today. But I talked to my boss every week. So we were having our weekly meeting, and we were talking, and I was just he was like asking if I was doing anything fun this weekend. People ask me that all the time, and I just either I have something going on or I have a good excuse. So I just said we have a lot going on in August, which we do.
with work.
No, with like what my weekend.
Oh.
Like me and you
Oh,
have a lot going on in August. Which I think people probably think I'm married, but I'm like we have
what did you tell him?
I just said we. I don't think I really necessarily said. I think he probably just. I think he would know that you're my roommate, but I say we to everybody when I'm talking about like you know. And so I was like we have a lot going on in August, and so we're just kind of like taking it easy this weekend. But we do have a lot going on in August, so I haven't told you this, but I'm going out of town next weekend.
For what?
I'm going to the funeral next weekend. Oof. Yeah, I don't think I also told you that part, like that there is a funeral.
I didn't know about the funeral, but you did tell me that
That
there
she
was
passed away.
death.
Yeah. So it's honestly they had the funeral already. This is the whole family coming into town for a celebration of life. Kind of like a family reunion. It honestly could be really sweet. It could be really. I think it'll be really fun. I really do. I think that our Aunt Paula would want it to be fun. I think it'll be fun to see everybody. We'll drink. We'll be merry. We'll sing songs. Everybody will play music that she likes.
Have you thought about how you would like your funeral to be?
that?
You'd want it to be kind of a party.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that sounds great. I would feel bad even calling it a celebration of life. I would just want it to be an excuse for my family to get together. But I don't need them to even equate me into it that much.
Yeah, it's like, and if you can't make it,
That's fine.
it's fine. Made it this far.
So anyways, I don't think you even realize how like quick of a timeline this is going to be. We have this week. I go out of town next weekend. I get back Sunday night. Monday night happens. Vince flies in on Tuesday.
Have you taken off?
Not yet. I will.
I gotta figure that out because this month is. I know it's gonna be really hectic, and
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing a half day Thursday and taking Friday off. That's all I can do.
I'll probably try to swing something like that myself, and especially if we have the same time off, then we'll be able to maximize that time.
Yep.
We'll figure it out. Either
And I'll-
way, I know that they could entertain themselves.
Yep.
So.
And I'll probably still work Friday morning. Like I'll probably wake up early and do a few hours of work, like before we would even be hanging out until we go to breakfast or something, and maybe work, here and there if we're hanging out at the place. Although I was thinking maybe we go. Oh, this is what I was thinking. Let's talk about this later. I don't need to talk about our plans with our roommates over the podcast. So our logo. What do you think?
I haven't thought about it at all, and
Okay.
I would like to think of maybe just a few kind of ideas or a tone to it or a vibe to it, and then commission someone to do it. I guess that'd be cool. I haven't thought that much about it.
Yeah,
I'm
we have to
thought
do
about
something in the interim.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
I never knew because I just
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. I've been trying to get more creative with my vocabulary lately. kind of hard.
It's hard to. There's a line between having a good vocabulary and being kind of pretentious that I think is kind of tough because I don't know if you call them like SAT words and stuff too. I just think it's kind of fun to. It's fun to just know things like that, but I guess.
I would say it's more that I like try to not use the same word. So if I say like complete, I'll try not to say complete again.
Say consummate.
I always thought it was consummate.
Well, that
Marriage.
yeah, that's a different kind of connotation, but it's
Yeah.
the same word.
Is
That's,
it?
Yeah.
That's weird. Are there other words that are pronounced differently based on what like usage you're using? I guess red.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So, of all the movies kind of coming out over the next several months, do you think you can think of any? Like, what do you think are your biggest?
I want to see the Quentin Tarantino movie.
So that's out now.
Yeah,
right?
it
Or
is out now, but I'm not in a hurry to go see it.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's super long, and I've become very averse to going to the movies. Also, I don't know if I've really kind of explained that to you. It's not aversion as much of it is I'm not in a hurry to go to the movie theater to go see anything really. I feel like I can wait for pretty much anything to come out on another platform. But it is nice to go to the movies for that experience.
Yeah, it's great going to the movies. I'm also not in a rush. I would have liked to see Infinity War in theaters several weeks after it came out. I would not have wanted to be like super. I would be involved in the first night. Like that's it, and then like, well for the Avengers at least.
Do you mean Endgame?
Yeah. What did I say?
Infinity
Yeah,
War.
for Endgame. I think that kind of would have been fun to see the first night, see people like dressed up and shit. I don't know. What do you think? Think that would be any fun? Like going to like a midnight release of like a Star Wars movie.
If it was
or-
something that I was really passionate about, but I can't even really think of a series that I would feel that way. What about you?
So you've lost hope on Rise of Skywalker.
I wouldn't say that. I've lost faith in at least this whole
Arc.
yeah, just everything that they're doing. I thought The Last Jedi was so awful that I just am totally checked out. I mean, I'd like to watch it just to see what happens, but I'm not in a hurry to go see it. I'm not anticipating it whatsoever.
Right.
Is that this year?
I believe it's Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
The trailer looked amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so I feel like they've gotten so good at making trailers
So
now,
good.
you know?
Yeah, they're the best at it. Yeah, because I mean, the trailer was all about hype, dude. Like the trailer was all about hype, where they fucking at the end of the trailer, they walk up to the Death Star, and then they it goes black, and then the Emperor laughs,
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
and then the fucking title comes up, The Rise of Skywalker, and everybody goes nuts, myself included. I'm not even that crazy about like Star Wars, and I got chills when I saw The Rise of Skywalker. I got chills.
Nice. Yeah, I think Star Wars is just it's just nostalgia, really. Because
You think so?
I mean, dude, yeah, because I feel like all the coolest thing, like Han Solo was so cool,
Han Solo was
and
cool.
even when he was in Force Awakens, I feel like it's kind of a shittier version of Han Solo, and then they killed him, and then that sucked. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, it was out like 5 years ago. So
I can't believe that. Is that
that might not be accurate. So that Netflix movie I was telling you about, the Adam Sandler movie that I left nice and cliffhangered for you. It's Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, and Dustin Hoffman in like a serious movie on Netflix. It's really, really, really good.
really? Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
watch that.
Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler brothers. I watch it again, like in the next few days. Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller are brothers, and Dustin Hoffman's their dad. It's just like everybody's relationship with each other. Or everybody like doesn't necessarily get along as well as they could. Okay, so you want to see the Quentin Tarantino movie? What other movies that are coming out?
Dude, you know it, the Joker movie.
Yeah,
You think-
looks great.
Do you know when that comes out?
No, I don't. I think it's
later this year, I think. Right?
yeah, I want to say sometime in
That's
the fall.
crazy.
Fall time frame.
So, do you think where are your expectations at?
Low.
You don't think it'll be good, or your expectations are just low?
I agree with 100% with what you said about how good they've gotten at making trailers. So I've just gotten skeptical. The first Suicide Squad trailer was a work of art. It got me to go see the movie. That trailer bought a ticket, at least one ticket to that movie, because I don't see many movies, but that trailer was so sick that I had to see it in person. And that's kind of how I feel about the Joker movie. Like, that trailer is so good. It's a trailer I watch frequently. Like, I've probably watched it 10 times since I first saw it. But at the same time, I'm trying to just manage my expectations.
Do you think that they won't make another good portrayal of the Joker, or just as good?
I think they definitely can.
I don't
There's
see
been
why
plenty
not.
of amazing portrayals of the Joker before Heath Ledger. There's been plenty fantastic ones that many would argue are better than Heath Ledger. So I wouldn't, but there are plenty that, like, Mark Hamill probably would get looped into the discussion. For the
He
best
does,
Joker.
but there's a difference between the cartoon and live action.
Definitely, I think so too.
And I said this before, but I have a lot of confidence in Joaquin Phoenix, but I also have a lot of confidence in Jared Leto too. So it's just that there's so much more to it than just the actor. I think it's the story, it's the writing, it's the direct. I mean, it's everything else too.
Yeah, I
because
mean,
it can ruin it.
Heath Ledger's Joker had some spectacular lines to deliver. Like, he got to deliver some of the best lines
Yeah.
in a movie ever. Like, and shit that maybe couldn't always worked. Why so serious?
It could, because that's the thing about the Joker, is that the line between corny and awesome is so fragile. You know, because there's a million ways that it could have gone wrong.
Why
And-
so serious could have gone wrong, I think.
Yeah, because
Easily.
a lot of the lines are kind of corny, but it was everything. The tone of it is just so good.
It's perfect.
Everything is perfect.
Yeah, they completely understood. Everybody involved completely understood the Joker. Heath Ledger completely understood the Joker that he was meant to portray. And I think that's really impressive. Like yes, the writing was good and the story was good, but Heath Ledger executed it perfectly.
Of course.
Perfect
How do you
plan.
think Joaquin Phoenix will do?
I think he'll execute it. I think Jared Leto executed what his Joker was written to be. I think they wrote a shitty Joker. But I think he executed it. He was horrible, and so was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was horrible, and nobody, I don't think, could do it. The idea for this Joaquin Phoenix Joker, because I didn't like the Jared Leto idea from the moment I saw the damaged tattoo on his forehead, months before we saw footage, just early concept art.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even. Yeah, there was just.
We don't need
Yeah,
to-
we don't even
yeah.
need to go there. It's so stupid.
So I can't really read this Joaquin Phoenix. What it is, what they're going for, what kind of Joker this is. It's a little bit tough to tell. It looks like a very it looks like a tragedy. It looks like a tragic Joker to me.
I'm really interested in what they'll do because they haven't given too much away, and I don't really want to see anything more until I see the movie. So I guess we'll see, but I think if they're trying to make it a little bit more, what it seems like is they're trying to keep it a little bit more, and Christopher Nolan did this too, but realistic as far as something like this could be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people kind of want, but I mean, even if they went as like flamboyant camp as possible, I feel like that could be done well too. But
Yeah. So you brought up somebody interesting. You brought up Christopher Nolan. I saw the trailer for his new movie last night. The teaser trailer.
yeah.
It's called Tenet, and it is with Denzel Washington's son and Pattinson.
Nice.
Yeah. Looks a little more Inception-y. Very, very short snippet. Very, very little information. Pretty much just shows Denzel Washington's son, just his face for like a long time. That's a good amount of it. It's just kind of zooming in on him, and like couple things happen. You don't see Robert Pattinson at all. No mention of him at all. We just know that he's cast in it. So that's 2 big movies coming out for Robert Pattinson.
He's going to be Batman too.
I know.
How do you think that'll be?
Who's
Who's directing it? Do you know?
I don't know who's directing it. I have no clue. We've gotten pretty lucky with Batman. Ben Affleck was a good. He wasn't a terrific Batman.
Did you see that?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen scenes.
Okay.
I've seen like a lot of his scenes. And he wasn't a great. Like I've looked up the best scenes from the movie for him.
But they did Justice League too, right?
Yeah, they did Justice League
How was
too.
that? Did you see that?
I didn't see Justice League. I saw Wonder Woman.
Did we watch that together?
I think so. But in everything I've heard about Ben Affleck and everything I've seen is that he wasn't a great Batman. But he did play a pretty good.
But he's a
Bruce
great
Wayne.
actor, and that's why.
He played a good Bruce Wayne. Oh, and him and Matt Damon are writing and co-starring in another movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the Robert Pattinson
Mhm.
rendition, I feel like, I don't know. I've never really seen any of his movies, to be honest with you. I saw the first Twilight, but I feel like that was a while ago, so he's probably
You've seen him in Harry Potter.
no. I've only
He's in
seen
Harry-
the first, I think, 3 Harry Potters.
He's in the 4th Harry Potter.
Oh, really? So if you wanted to watch those sometimes, I would be so into it because
Anytime.
yeah, because that's something I feel like a big kind of cultural phenomenon that I kind of missed out on.
Do you want to start at the beginning?
Yeah, probably. I know I feel like I've seen the first movie multiple times, but
Yeah.
so
Maybe Sunday. We watch 1 or 2.
that could be done. That could be done.
The best movie. God. 1 through 4 are all really good. Really, they're just good stories.
How many are there?
There's 8 movies. There's 7 stories.
Hmm,
The 7th story is 2 parts.
just
and-
milking it.
Yeah, so the 7th part, the book, the first half they could have done without. They could have definitely probably condensed that into a little bit shorter of a time frame. But the second movie packed so much into it that it was fine. Like the first movie is probably the first 75% of the book and is a little bit too long. But the second movie is the last 25% and is really, really good.
I also think it's kind of cool because as big of a phenomenon as it was, I have pretty much no idea as
What
far as
happens?
spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume he takes out Voldemort in some way, and I've heard that Dumbledore dies. But
There's
other-
so much more to it.
Yeah, other
yeah.
than that, I feel like those aren't. I mean, you always expect the good guy to beat the bad guy, but I really don't know what happens. To be honest with you, he could take his powers away, like in Avatar or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Don't spoil it, but
Yeah, I won't.
See.
That is crazy that there's spoilers out there, but there's so much to it, so many things that the thing that I think that made Harry Potter less spoiler than other things is that Harry Potter spoilers, a lot of them they talk to him by reference. So there's a spoiler called Always, which just spoil you have no idea what that means, but anybody who watches Harry Potter or read Harry Potter knows what always means. And so I think that's the thing about, or horror, there's a lot of things with Harry Potter where you can just reference it and not have to spoil it directly. Kind of like Red Wedding. Anybody who talks about Game of Thrones can talk about the Red Wedding, and everybody in the whole entire world, whether you've seen Game of Thrones or not, knows that the Red Wedding exists. But nobody actually really knows what it is until they watch it, unless they specifically look up.
and I've heard, I was very familiar with I guess, just that it was an event,
Mhm.
but I still didn't. You don't know what it's gonna be exactly. So I was totally surprised when I saw that for the first time.
Totally surprised, and I think what helps that a little bit is that it's not the first wedding.
That was just peak peak got
Peak
the,
got.
you know.
Season 4 was so good though.
Oh my god. I mean there's so much good content there. That's why it doesn't really get me too bummed that they couldn't, stick the landing. Because I feel this way about Dexter too.
Yeah.
Because I was just talking to Steph about Dexter, because I've only seen the first, I think, 4 seasons of Dexter. Oh, it's so annoying. All right.
So
Oh, it's gone.
that was good. That
Because
was a
I've
really
only
good
seen the
finish.
first, I think, 4 seasons of Dexter, but I don't have any regrets because people say the show kind of falls off after that, and I'm like, dude, we
Yeah.
had so much fun in those 4 seasons.
That's true.
We were just ripping people up, man,
Ripping people
left,
up.
right, and center. I think that I'm kind of sad because I feel like you didn't really give Dexter a fair shake.
I didn't give it a fair shake at all. No, you're right about that.
Because I could say it with just full confidence that it's just such a great show. It really is.
Yeah, it was just a lot to sign up for.
But you're not signing up for the whole show. You're signing up because, like
I
I
was-
said,
I would want to finish it. I'd be signing up to get disappointed. It's like if somebody wanted to watch Game of Thrones now, they're gonna want to watch it all, and they're gonna get disappointed. So, and to great Game of Thrones, before we move over to Dexter, I feel bad. I feel for David Benoit and D.B. Weiss, they're the creators of the show. I feel for them because they signed on to recreate the first 4 books. That's what they signed on for, and they did a fucking kick-ass job at that. It's pretty much seasons 1 through like 5ish. 5 is when they kind of started making stuff up because they had to. But they did a kick-ass job at that. 6, 7, and 8 they had to write kind of themselves, and they're not writers. They're directors. They're creators. They make season 7, 6, 7, and 8. Say what you will about the story. They were gorgeous. The Battle of Winterfell, as much as people meme on it, was a masterpiece in cinematography, in staging a fight. It was magnificent. Not as good as the Lord of the Rings fight, as far as I've been told, and I want to see that because I've heard amazing things about like the Lord of the Rings battle that everybody talks about. I don't know what happens in it, but I've heard it's like over an hour long and that it's just magnificent. But I thought Battle of Winterfell was magnificent. So they're not writers. They wrote a shitty story. They completely butchered the characters, but they made it fucking look damn good while they did it.
yeah, I would agree with that. So it happens, man. I think 8 seasons is just a lot too.
Yeah, it is a lot.
That's why I think Breaking Bad really, and even then, I think a lot of people are kind of so on the second half of the 5th season. What do you think? At least the last episode.
The second half of the 5th season?
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about the whole thing, but I mean the ending specifically. I think some people aren't totally on board with it. What do you think?
So I've always heard good opinions about the ending, like the series finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always heard good opinions about the finale. My personal opinion of the finale was that was probably what they had to do. It was like pretty conservative. It like made sense for the story. Nothing like super shocking happened. It was good. It was good. It featured a great Breaking Bad moment, which like just like a classic great Breaking Bad moment, which they're kind of sprinkled throughout the series in the turret gun. It's just like a classic Breaking Bad moment. It's awesome. And it features a beautiful ending shot. The show is also known for its ending shots. It features a realistic and conservative closure to the story. That being said, it wasn't surprising in any way. It didn't shock me. It didn't try anything risky. Didn't make any risks. It just kind of did what made the most sense for the story, which isn't a bad thing. And it caused very little disagreement. Everybody was like, okay, that like tied the bow up, and now the show's over. Okay, like I can live with that. But it didn't knock people's socks off. Ozymandias did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of, but even then, I think they land. It's like they ended the show safely, gently.
Yeah.
But it's like you can look back on it and be like, all right, I'm glad that it didn't go on too long, and just the amount of fun that you had along the way
Yeah.
and just entertainment is just so good, dude.
And
So good.
you really could have milked it probably for another 2 seasons. You know, and it like let him kill them, but somehow he gets out of it. You know, he goes into a mission heroically, and somehow gets involved again, and some new villain comes along, some new A-list.
Yeah,
actor.
but he was America's Most Wanted though at the end.
Something happens somehow, right? Somehow. He gets out of it. He like the police come, and he talks about how he was like under Nazi. He like there's a couple seasons of where he's like, or like there's like a season maybe where he's like under Nazi
Mind control.
He like says that he was you know, under some kind of Nazi mind control or Nazi
So
like he was just like by force was forced to do the things that he did, and there's an investigation, and you know he watched his brother-in-law die before his eyes, like
Yeah, he'd never get away with that shit at all.
probably not. Probably not.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the show had to end. The show always had to end. He had cancer. He had inoperable brain cancer
Brain cancer.
or lung cancer. Sorry, brain cancer. When I just think of inoperable cancer, that's where my mind goes. You know, inoperable lung cancer. He was gonna die the whole time. From episode 1.
Mm-hmm. So he just had to start grinding.
Yeah. What do you think of that pilot? Do you think that gets you in?
It got me in. I mean, it's just, I guess it's kind of, the way I look back on it is the show just became so much better
Yeah.
that I think if someone were to watch the pilot now, be like, dude, just wait, you know, it's gonna get super good. So
That's what happened with Breaking Bad. For me, Breaking Bad, it kind of clicked after the second episode, and that's when I like started watching it. Like that's when I started binging it. But it didn't really click for me until the Tuco scene. I think it's in the season 1 finale, where the guy says something and he just beats the shit out of him, and that scene blew my mind.
yeah, because there's just so many moments where you're like, oh man, this guy's way in over his head. And it just gets
That's one of the
worse and worse and worse and worse.
It gets worse and worse and worse. He does get more and more competent as the series progresses, obviously.
But he was always really competent, and I think that's what people really loved about him, because of all of his shortcomings as far as just his life position, he was just so good at strategy and chemistry.
and chemistry and keeping himself alive. He is goddamn good at keeping him and Jesse alive.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I mean you can say what you will about Walter White. But the dude knows how to keep him and his partner alive. And he knows how to keep his partner alive till the very end. You know, he sacrificed himself for his partner in the end. Like, yeah, I like Walter White.
Yeah, but he's kind of a scumbag though too. If you watch the show.
I mean, he's an absolute scumbag, of course. It'd be unfair to even, you know, allow a conversation where he's not. But I don't know. So, are there any other movies that you're excited for?
Not really. What about you?
I'm excited for it too.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for it too.
Yeah.
It too. I feel exactly about it too as you feel with the Joker, where I saw the first trailer where, I can't remember her name right now. The redhead woman from Zero Dark 30 that plays Jessica Chastain, plays the lead, and she goes to that old lady's house. And there's that whole scene.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I love that.
That's all I needed to see. It looks good. I'm good. I've seen it. Seen that trailer. It looks good. I saw the new movie poster come out. It comes out soon. It too comes out, I think, the beginning of September. So I think like a month.
That's crazy, man. Because I
Yeah.
feel like the other one just came out, sort of.
Yeah, I know that, and they finished it. So, and dude, like the other thing that I was worried about is like Pennywise is my favorite character. Like I love the kids; they're good. And Bill Hader looks like Bill Hader's good. Jessica Chastain's good. I'm not as familiar with the other folks as far as the adults, and the kids were great in the first movie. Pennywise is my favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, he really he puts the work in.
Yep, and he looks crazier than ever in this one,
Yeah.
which is what I'm going for. I want him to be crazier than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think the last one was so good.
Yeah, it really
too.
was.
So I think even if this one's not as good, I feel like it'll still be good if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It'll
so
just be
too.
fun.
I think so too. They probably kept a similar team together. I don't think they would do it if they signed on for it immediately. They knew they were going to do it when they're making the first movie.
And Bill Hader, I feel like, well, so he's really good. So
I really wasn't going to watch Barry.
I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't interest me that much. But
You'd be surprised. It's like Breaking Bad. It's the most Breaking Bad like show I've ever seen, in my opinion. Not because it like follows a similar storyline, but just the way that it feels, the tension that gets built while also being pretty funny. It's funnier than Breaking Bad is, but Breaking Bad's still pretty funny. And both have pretty good ensembles.
oh man, a lot of movies, man.
A lot of movies. A lot of movies. All right, what do you think? You want to start wrapping this bad boy up?
To wrap it up, is there anything that you wanted to say before?
Start getting into the conclusion. So I've been titling our podcast. First podcast was just Welcome to the Porchcast.
I don't really even remember what we talked about in the first one. Nothing to.
I think we just kind of talked generally. We talked about tiki torches. The second podcast, the name was like just the top 3 topics at the time. It was airport something and the decision. What would this one be? Movies for sure.
We kind of just talked. I feel like we talked about movies a lot.
Yeah, there was a heavy movie focus, and I'm definitely good with that. Heavy movie focused. Dating culture talked about for a little bit, just culture of dating today, and
never talks about robots.
let's talk about robots really quick. Let's end it with a quick talk about robots, and I don't know. Is there anything that you think that robots could potentially do that worries you in any way?
Yeah. Oh man. Do you think that robots will take over the world eventually?
I do. I think it's, for me, they seem to be on a trajectory that will make them superior to humans in a way that humans were superior to Neanderthals, and I think that it'll take the shape of evolution in some way. So I think that somehow, maybe even how it looks is we become so integrated with technology that we're indiscernible from it, effectively making human beings robots. I think is like a realistic way that could happen, and that's what I mean by kind of evolution, is it happens to human beings. But even the iRobot scenario, which seems so silly, I can totally see happening. Some kind of sentience.
To bring it back to movies, obviously.
Yeah, well, I didn't even mean to do that, but just in terms, because we don't have any real world evidence of robots taking over the world. We have real world evidence of robots overstepping their boundaries, but
What do you mean?
like the Amazon Echo thing that like records your voice and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're on the right
track.
track. We're on the right track, I think.
Yeah.
Probably not in our lifetime though.
I don't think in our lifetime, but we do tell fucking those machines an awful lot. We tell them everything. Credit card information, social security number, have it all. Everything you need to know about me, everything that you could need to take me down, just take it.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty spooked, especially the movie Ex Machina really creeps me out too.
Yeah, back to movies.
Yeah. I mean, we're staying on track though.
Yeah, I agree.
Staying on track.
Yeah, no, Ex Machina is scary because it was almost like the audience was being Turing tested as well as the main character.
Yeah, but of course, and it seemed like something that could happen,
Definitely.
and
Yeah, it feels really realistic. That's with the guy from Star Wars, right?
I don't know his name, but yeah,
Like Montage. Or no, like something like that.
I don't think so.
That's the guy from. I think that's like similar to the guy's name from Lost. But something like that. And then his dad is Mad-Eye Moody in the Harry Potter movies. And he's also in that movie Mother that Darren Aronofsky did. Along with Jennifer Lawrence.
Nice.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think robots, like, how do you think that it would look if robots took over the world?
I think it would probably be that we created an AI and something happened. I guess that's kind of. They'd probably just get it spiral out of control, and they just get too smart, and you can't turn them off, or it could be like Ex Machina, where they just kind of blend into society.
Yep. Bypass any kind of defensive mechanisms that were put in place.
Or it could be like a Matrix scenario where they just plug it, where they turn us into.
That's true. Just render us useless.
Yeah. So.
We should watch that movie soon too, because I've only seen it one time and I saw it forgettably.
Yeah, that's a good one. So. It could happen.
It could definitely happen. Well, I want to give one last shout out to Tiki Torches.
Might as well.
Might as well, right? One last shout out to Kombucha. What's the brand?
GTS.
Yeah, one last shout out to GTS, and thank you to Quest Bars for your energy, for your protein, for your power, for your fiber, and for your delicious taste. This is an episode 3 of the Porchcast. We're gonna start having these available to y'all online, so you can, if you're listening to this, that means that we accomplished that feat, and we'll be commissioning for an art piece very soon. So, any last words on your end?
I'm ready for the next one, dude. I'm ready for what's coming. Are you?
I'm ready for what's coming too. We're gonna turn this off now, and we're gonna start episode 4 immediately.
All right, let's rev it up.
All right, talk to you guys soon.